It's a truth, universally acknowledged, that if you've read Jane Austen, there's a high probability you will at some point have watched a Jane Austen film adaptation. Hello guys, welcome, or if you already seen my channel before, welcome back. I'm the Philadelphia Whovian, and once again, I'm stepping away from my normal, a topic of discussion to talk about one of those things that's close to my heart, Jane Austen. I absolutely love Jane Austen. I've read all of her complete novels, some of her unfinished works. Love her, a lot of us do. And as a result, after I got into her novels, over time I got into her film adaptations, and those helped me like her novels even more. So without further ado, let's get into my top 10 favorite Jane Austen film adaptations. Coming at number 10. I'm not going to lie, guys, it's kind of a cheat, but I like it anyway. It's not really an adaptation as much as a Jane Austen reimagining or variation. That is Lost in Austen. Lost in Austen was a TV show on the BBC where it's about a girl named Amanda Price, and Amanda Price loves reading Pride and Prejudice, and one day she wakes up and finds Elizabeth Bennet in her bathroom, and they switch places, and Amanda Price goes to Regency England while Elizabeth Bennet is living here in modern day Britain. And naturally, Amanda Price discovers it's not as easy as she thought it would be, and times are complicated, and it's not as flowery as it is in the books, and she ends up falling in love with a certain character of Jane Austen's. Either way, I personally love it. Okay, this is one of those things you got to go into wanting to have fun. But if you go into it like, okay, I want to be just like Jane Austen at all times, you're not going to have fun with it. But if you do go into it with a fun time, you're going to love it. The cast is awesome. Oh my God. The entire cast is perfect. I personally love them. I really do. So, also, and if you watch the TV show Sleepy Hollow, remember Ichabod Crane? Yeah, Tom Meissen? He played Mr. Bingley in this. And good old Gemma Arterton is also in this too. So is Hugh Bonneville. If you know Alex Kingston, she's in it. And then Jemima Roper. So yes, great cast of people. Now coming at number 9, we have, Keira Knightley and Matthew McFadden's Pride and Prejudice. Now guys, I know, for those of you who... There are some people who absolutely love this one, thinks it deserves to be number 1. There are those who are like, okay, no, this is not very good. It shouldn't be on any top 10 list at all. I understand where both of you guys are coming from. I really do. The main thing I like about this one is the cinematography. It is amazing. Like, the way this film was directed was absolutely, the shots, the cinematography, it was just so beautiful. I understand the criticism that this adaptation gets. The way that the characters were sometimes presented, the way they were directed, didn't always feel accurate to the characters. It felt like you were watching something in the characters wise. It felt like you were watching something that was inspired by the Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice when it came to the character depictions, but wasn't fully quite there. But overall, no, I mean, though Brenda Blethyn was an amazing Mrs. Bennet, and there were times where I could not understand what certain actors were saying, or actresses, but overall, I'm not gonna lie, I love the way this is shot. I understand why those people love this one, think it's the best. I understand why those people think, oh no, it's worst. But there are things about this one I do very much like, so it gets my number 9 slot. Now it comes to number 8. We have Kate Beckinsale's Emma. Okay, I love this version of Emma. The only reason it's so low is because of the time frame it had to be done in. It did not have enough of the actual novel in it, but it wasn't its fault for what it was given. For what it was given, the time span, how long this was running on BBC. For the amount of time they filmed it, they got the best of Emma. They really depicted Emma very well. The cast, for me, is overall absolutely amazingly good. The cast is really good in this, very much so. Okay, so, again, I love this depiction of Emma. It's just simply that it wasn't enough time was given to it. That's the only reason it's number 8. Now, number 7, we have Masterpiece Theater's version of Northanger Abbey, or Northanger Abbey. I've heard it pronounced 2 different ways. Okay, this is, without doubt, the best depiction of Northanger Abbey, or Northanger Abbey, there ever has, and probably is ever going to be. Yes, Carey Mulligan is in this, and she is delightful. And there are a couple other actresses in it, I think that you know them. I think it's Felicity Jones, but I could be wrong. Oh, it is. It's Felicity Jones. It's also in it too. And she is very good as Catherine. This really, okay, if you have not gotten this, I'd recommend finding this when it's on sale. It is literally, it'll help you fall in love with Northanger or Northanger Abbey. It really was good. So, I think, are we at number 6 now? I think we are, but I could be wrong. Hold on. It could be number 5. 10, 9, 8, 6. Yeah, 6. Go ahead. Number 6, we have Persuasion with Ciarán Hinds and with Amanda Root. And this one, oh my god, this one. Okay, I like Persuasion as a novel. It's very good. Very, very good. This one does a darn excellent job at depicting it and adapting it. I think it is absolutely god-smackingly good. I know there's another version, or 2 versions, or maybe 3 versions of Persuasion out there, but I think nothing will top this one for me. I really think so. So I think now we are at number 5. I think we are. Sorry if my numbers are completely off at this point. We have the, BBC video of Sense and Sensibility. Okay, it was very good. It was very, very, very much enjoyable. I overall liked it. It did a lot of very good things. It helped really give a nice, good character to the character of Margaret, the third Dashwood sister. It really did. It did justice to the novel. Like that one scene that usually gets omitted from adaptations of Sense and Sensibility is one of my favorite scenes ever. It's with Eleanor and Mr. Willoughby. When he comes back, he talks about how he feels bad for what happened to Marianne. What a good scene. It shows how incredibly despicable Willoughby kind of really was. He very much was. And these scenes, this depiction of Sense and Sensibility, like another version you'll see later on in this list of Sense and Sensibility, did a very good job at helping you really understand why Eleanor loved Edward Ferrars. And even though it was my favorite depiction of Colonel Brandon, it still did a good job depicting Colonel Brandon. The sisters were amazing. It really was overall pretty darn good. Now I believe we're at number 4. We have, this is a controversial one, but I love it. Mansfield Park. With a lot of really, really, really good actors. I want to say it was directed by Patricia Rozema, but I could be wrong. Let me check. Oh yeah, it was directed by Patricia Rozema. And it stars Frances O'Connor, Johnny Lee Miller, Hugh Bonneville, and a lot of very good, Alessandra Nivola, a lot of very good actors whose names I should know. Very, very good actors whose names I should know. Okay, I absolutely love this depiction of Mansfield Park, and you're thinking, how dare you like this depiction of Mansfield Park? It strays so much from the book. Understand something. It still stays true to the overall story of Mansfield Park. It really does. And what has to be understood is that with the lead character, this, I admit, is not Fanny Price. And I'm okay with that. I think someone said it best when they reviewed this on Amazon.com. With this heroine, you're not getting Fanny Price. You're getting Jane Austen. Jane Austen was put into the role of Fanny Price for this. And that is a substitution I'm perfectly okay with. The cast was absolutely amazing. The direction was incredible. And now you're thinking to yourself, well, the slavery, why did she bring slavery into this? I mean, Patricia Rozema, the director and I believe the writer of it, did both at the same time and did a good job, I believe it both. So why did she bring that up? You have to understand that Patricia Rozema is an American. And the idea of the Bertram family and obtaining their wealth through slavery is something she probably naturally felt like she had to confront. And to show the evils of slavery, because if she depicts them in a good way whatsoever for this, she's not being sympathetic to the slave or the abolitionist cause. In America, we have a very intense stigma on slavery where you have to kind of punish those in some way for holding slaves and being terrible with how you are treating them. So Patricia, I believe, was just showing the realism, the true ugliness behind the people who own this estate. And oh my God, it was so well directed. But, I'm sorry, the direction alone makes it so good. That's what I believe. I'm sticking with it. I respect you for disagreeing, but I'm sticking with it. Then we have number 3, directed by Ang Lee and written by Emma Thompson, Sense and Sensibility. This, for me, will probably always be my favorite version of Sense and Sensibility. I remember I bought this, loved it. Helped me appreciate the book more, because I wasn't that crazy about the book when I first got the book. Helped me enjoy the book more. It really did. But also, here's the thing. After having this, then eventually finding by this, I thought to myself, this was going to be so much better than this because I had more time to tell the story. Instead of being a theatrical release, it's a TV, so it's got time to draw things out. Okay, I could not have been more wrong. This still is the reigning champ for the depiction of these characters. Emma Thompson found a way to do everything in her power to give everybody enough screen time to really help you get into their characters. Alan Rickman was just the perfect casting for Colonel Brandon, and Emma Thompson and Kate Winslet were perfect as the sisters. The girl that got to play Margaret was good. Then again, so was the actress that got to play Margaret in this version of Sense and Sensibility too. But the mom they got was, you know her as Madame Pomfrey from Harry Potter. She was amazing. And then Elizabeth Spriggs, she played Mrs. Jennings, and nobody can top her as Mrs. Jennings. Elizabeth Spriggs is a genius of an actress. She is a great underrated actress. And then also, whose name was amazing? Oh, Emilia Staunton as her daughter, and also Hugh Laurie as Mr. Palmer. The casting was so excellent in this. There was no one who was miscast. It was just so perfectly cast. All the characters were given enough to really make you understand their characters and really feel like everything was done to perfection. And it was directed also very well. This probably was my favorite version of Sense and Sensibility. Now, come down to number 2. It is with, I believe, I got her name wrong, Romola Garai. Emma, the one by BBC, the latest version of Emma. Okay, I thought Kate Beckinsale was excellent as Emma, and she was. Kate Beckinsale was excellent as Emma. But dude, was this girl Emma. Oh my God, she was perfect. And then it did everything it needed to do. This story just did an excellent job at, I want to say it's Sandy Welch who wrote the screenplay, but it was adapted to film perfectly. This was a very, very, very good adaptation of Emma. I think it might always be the best version of Emma there probably ever will be. And now coming down to my number 1. Before we get into that, though, I'll give one honorable mention to Emma with Gwyneth Paltrow. Okay, I know some people who love this version, some who hate this version. I understand why they both do, but there's something about it I very much enjoy a lot of. I just do. What can you do? Now down to my number 1. Was there ever any doubt? Ever? That the Jennifer Eel and Colin Firth Pride and Prejudice, adapted to the screen by Andrew Davies, was ever going to be anything else but number 1. I doubt it. Because this is without doubt the greatest ever adaptation of Pride and Prejudice there will ever be. And I think it's this adaptation that keeps BBC from ever readapting Pride and Prejudice. Unless they're doing it again, I hope you don't. BBC, no offense, don't do it. Don't do it. This is perfect. You cannot take this away from us. I mean, don't get me wrong, if you adapt it again, I'll still like that your new version, just not as much as this version. There are some things you guys gotta leave behind. But again, if you do a new version, BBC, I will still respect it, and I'll probably still buy it on DVD, and I'll still like it, probably. Either way, this was absolute perfection. I don't have to go into it at all very much, because I did a video solely on it. This is probably the greatest adaptation of a classic novel there will ever be. It was so good. The casting was perfect. Jennifer Eel is just gorgeous and amazing as Elizabeth Bennet. She is probably the best Elizabeth Bennet there ever will be. Maybe after her is Gemma Arterton. But then Colin Firth as Mr. Darcy. I don't think anything will ever be Colin Firth as Mr. Darcy like Colin Firth as Mr. Darcy. Overall, the cast is absolutely amazing. Mrs. Bennet, Mr. Bennet, Lady Catherine de Bourgh, Colonel Fitzwilliam, the Bennet sisters, Wickham. Just everybody was just so splendid in these roles. Thank you so much, Jennifer Eel and Colin Firth, Pride and Prejudice, for existing. So guys, that is my top 10 Jane Austen film adaptations. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves, and thank you so much for watching my list. What are your top 10 favorite Jane Austen film adaptations? Or what is your top 2, or top 3, or top 5? If you want to let me know, you can comment below. And thank you so much for joining me. I hope to see you guys again very soon. Peace out, and rock on.